Moviehouse, the film studio tycoon. Is it going to be a win or a bin? Let's have a quick read through of the description on Steam. Welcome to the big show. Ready the camera, unleash your creativity and pile up the profits. Grow your operation with your razor-sharp business sense and usher in a new era for filmmakers worldwide. Now, I still apologise for my voice maybe not being quite right. I haven't quite recovered from my cold that was mentioned in my previous video. But unfortunately, this game has probably somewhat put me back in terms of my recovery because it's made me feel very unwell playing this. We'll hear why in a few moments. We'll go through all the good and the bad. Just open this for the first time and my God, just look at this. Why is it so bright? I mean, I think I needed to put some sunglasses on as soon as this came up. Absolutely insane. This is amateur just before I even do anything. There's so little options in settings as well. Visual effects, there's max performance and default. That's the most ridiculously low amount of things that you can choose from in terms of specifying how you want your game to look. It's terrible. There's nothing here to configure whatsoever. There's no key bindings. There's nothing. I am absolutely praying for this game to be immense because if it's anything like this, we're in for an interesting one, I can tell you that much. Getting all that out of the way about the main menu being really bad. The things I like about this game, well, this isn't going to take me long, but I really like the idea. I think to be able to make your own movies and publish them and make money off them and design them, hire staff, research, all of those things, as the game seems to allude to as you play, that you'll be able to do. That's all there is to it. This is an idea. In a practical sense, this is no good whatsoever. And so on to the bad. Now, one thing I will bring up first is the performance of the game. Now, there are seemingly delays in inputs, so sometimes you might click a button and it might take a couple of times to react, so you've got to click it a couple of times for a button to actually do something. And there's also frame drops here and there, which for a game like this with no real graphics or anything like that is very unusual, but it did become a little bit annoying and it just didn't feel like this was particularly optimized very well. So for me, now although I know there is absolutely no way of being able to write a whole script yourself, that's just not very realistic, but for me the way they go about it isn't the most fun. So you have to pick a setting, you have to pick a villain, you have to pick various things, just I think 3 different factors per film as you write a script. And those things are ranging between, I don't know, Victorian era spaceships, your bad guys might be AI robots, those sort of things, but they seem random and you unlock more of them as you go through the game seemingly. But for me, it just doesn't seem like there's that much creativity on those fronts. You're just choosing from one of 4 usually of different things, and yeah, fine, you can make an informed decision as to what you'd like to include, but it just doesn't seem to be, for me, enough choice and control over the outcome. So the process of it is really you have to hire a scriptwriter. The script is then finished as per the cards I've described a moment ago. The script is then passed to a director who will produce the film. Sometimes during the producing of the film, the director will say, oh, I can't remember how to do flashback scenes and things like that. And you have to remind them by choosing from a choice of three outcomes or 3 processes to get them around those particular things. They're stupid things. They really are. If your director doesn't know how to do a certain camera shot or something like that, then what is going on? I prefer something a little bit different, perhaps. I don't know. This actor isn't performing up to standards. Should we get rid of him? Should we bring someone else in? Just little things like that. But for them to forget how to film, and that's their job, I think they're pretty poor pop-up events. And this almost became a bit laughable for me, this one. So I remember picking a scene, I think it might have been one of the first films I set. It was a Victorian era film. But when you go to produce a film off the back of the completed script, all you see is a static image of something, and it seems randomly generated. So bear in mind we're talking about the Victorian era here, and have a look at this because I'll show this on screen. But there's a fucking car on the set. What's going on with this? It looks like something from the 80s or something, like a American detective film. It's not what I picked at all. And this pattern of weird mismatching seems to happen regularly. You pick a setting that has absolutely nothing to do with what you're seeing on the screen. That's my general point. So a crucial thing that is annoying on this is the fact that I don't know what makes a good film. I just pick some random cards to produce my script, do a few things during the production of the film itself. You pick your actors, you pick your budget for the location and all those sorts of things, and special effects and props. But I don't know whether what I'm doing is going to make a good film or not. I'm just picking things which might sound interesting in a film. I don't know what factors are going into those things to determine whether or not the film turns out to be good. There's reviews and things. Once you release your movie, you can see the reviews of what people are giving you, 10 out of 10, 1 out of 10, and little comments and stuff, but that's as much feedback as you get. But whether or not that's just random, it's hard to tell. I don't know what to base it on as to how I'm going to make a good film. You have to make money to be able to function in this, and I do know the way to make money is to create a script, produce the film, and then you can sell it, distribute it, whatever, enter a film festival. I get that you're going to make money that way, but it's not clear anywhere in terms of a tutorial as to how best to make this process best for you. All you end up doing is literally a conveyor belt, and it becomes a bit boring, really, to be honest, but you write the script, produce the film, distribute it. That's your little conveyor belt making money. Now, I don't know how to... It's because nothing's really explained, really. I don't know how best to maximise that profit. Nothing is really detailed. And it's still a mystery to me, to be honest. The visuals of the game are extraordinarily boring. As I said, there's a problem with the set that you see during the production and the scene that you've chosen for your film script. There's no continuity there whatsoever. But generally speaking, the visuals in this game, you're playing like on a little table. It looks like it. But yeah, it just looks awful. Just nothing's absorbing you in visually, nothing draws you in. All very, very flat and bland. There's no way to actually see any of your film either. And again, I know you're not going to sit there and watch a full 2-hour film, but there's actually no video that you can see. There's nothing. All you can really see is a film poster, which you don't even get to design. And there's nothing more to it. I want to see, in some way, a way of actually looking at your film moving, and the fact that you can't do that is taken the whole point away from this. This is a game about movies, but you do not see any movies. Now, in reality, a film can earn money constantly. So you imagine you release a film, you don't just get some money upon the release, although you probably do. You get money over time. So streaming, so if your film ends up on TV, if it ends up on a streaming service, you'll get money from that, and it's over a longer term. So a film can generate money constantly, not just upon the initial production, upon the initial release. There's no indication that this happens in the game, so there's no consistent profit. So a film comes out, probably the most popular at the beginning, most of the money is generated at the beginning. As time goes on, stays at the cinema for a month or so, and then it goes off. I don't see that that's reflected in any way of seeing a constant stream of money coming through for other things, and I think they're just missing a bit of a trick on the economic scale there a little bit. It is unfortunately just a very repetitive and boring game. Yes, you can unlock things. Yes, there's a bit of research. But I got bored so early on with this, with the things I've said that are bad. And I'm not inclined to progress much further, because if it's not drawn my attention and given me some sort of enjoyment within my first hour, which is how long I've played, I don't want to bother continuing anymore. Yes, I might be able to unlock a few props and sets, but I can see the mechanics of this game just do not work. And it's just such a level of disappointment that I wasn't anticipating. I was expecting a bit more. I wasn't expecting the world, because this game is not very particularly expensive, but this is also not in early access as far as I can see. It's a full-on release. Yeah, I just think for me it's just disappointed me massively, and how boring and uncreative and unimaginative it is. But yeah, it is what it is. But I've given you all my points there, the good of which there is probably one thing, and many bad things, unfortunately.